Okay, students, in the last classes, we have discussed about services under the union and states, in which we have discussed about all India services and state services, state and union public service commissions, and doctrine of pleasure, constitutional safeguards. Now, our next topic is tribunals, administrative tribunals. So, Article 323A and Article 323B deals with tribunals. So, we have added this new chapter to the Constitution by the Party's Second Amendment, 1976. Okay, it consists of two articles, 323A and 323B. So, what are these tribunals first? We have discussed about services. And tribunals is a part of, you can say, the courts are burdened with so many matters. So they deal with service matters. We need to take the help of the tribunals. Tribunals were established to lesser the burden of High Court and Supreme Court. Other courts. Means here what is happening? Tribunals are going to deal with service matters. For that reason, this Administrative Tribunals Act was passed and the Act added to this new chapter to the Constitution. So, here what happened? Article 323 and 323B. So, what is 323A? 323A provides for the establishment of administrative tribunals by a parliamentary law for determining disputes relating to the recruitment conditions of service governments under the union government and state government. That is what I told you. So, regarding recruitment, service conditions, we have tribunals to adjudicate disputes relating to these particular aspects in central and state. Okay, 323A provides for the establishment of administrative tribunals by parliamentary law. Okay, so 323B, what is 323B? 323B also provides for creation of tribunals for the determination of disputes, complaints and offences relating to tax matters, exports, imports, labor and industrial disputes. Okay, so service matters, supply of essential commodities, the election to the parliament and the state legislature. So 323B deals with this type of tax matters, import matters, service matters relating to essential, supply of complaints relating to tax matters, supply of essential commodities. This is specific area, 323 and 323B. So now we are going to have a detailed discussion on these two separate articles. So as I told you, tribunals were established to lessen the burden of judiciary. So 323, now we have to discuss about 323A. 323A provides for the establishment of tribunals by parliamentary law. So here, what happened with the parliament law to trial the disputes, adjudication, complaints relating to recruitment and conditions, and employees of local bodies and authorities within the territory of India under the control of Government of India or the corporation owned by government. Such law provides for the establishment of tribunals for the union. So, here what are the duties, what is the jurisdiction of tribunals under Article 323A? So, under Article 323, as I told you just now, Parliament 23 provides for the establishment of tribunals for parliamentary law. You have to remember that. The tribunals are established by parliamentary law. So, this law will make provisions for what? And what are the disputes going to adjudicated by the tribunals, 323A. First one, the jurisdiction power, including power to punish for contempt and authority exercised by other tribunals. And what is the authority? The exercise to be exercised by tribunals, and even for contempt, he has a power to apply Contempt of Court Act. Second point, procedure to be followed by the tribunals. What is the procedure to be followed by the tribunals also will be in 323A. And next, the exclusion of jurisdiction of all courts except the jurisdiction of Supreme Court under Article 136. Exclusion of all courts and excluding the jurisdiction of even the High Court. Only Supreme Court under 136 and any matter related when the matter is disputed by state administrative tribunal, you can go to Supreme Court under 136. Again, we will discuss about this jurisdiction of High Court and what are the judgments. The next is the transfer of cases. All cases to the tribunals which are pending before any court or authority before establishment of such tribunals. And before the establishment of these tribunals, if any case is pending before the court, that will also be transferred to the court. Next, the repeal or amend any order made by the President under Clause 3 of Article 371, the separate provision 371D regarding local issues. Next, supplementary and incidental consequential provisions for the effective functioning of such tribunals. Okay, so here, now the provisions of Article 323A shall have effect notwithstanding anything in any of the other constitution. Okay, so this is what we have. So, the question is, jurisdiction, what I told you. We have state administrative tribunals now. We have central administrative tribunal. In every state, even in Hyderabad, we have central administrative tribunal and we have state administrative tribunal. So, what is the jurisdiction of this tribunal? What type of service matters they are going to deal with? Because tribunal, if you have a problem with service matter in Public Service Commission also, first you have to deal with, we are going to approach administrative tribunal. You have seen so many cases. Okay, so here we have one case regarding the jurisdiction. Union of India versus Deep Chand Pandey. Union of India versus Deep Chand Pandey. The question was whether the Central Administrative Tribunal has jurisdiction to the claim respondents who are engaged only on casual basis in the office of Central Railway. Question is, the people who have been employed on casual basis, they can approach the tribunal or not. This is the case. So here what Supreme Court held, the respondent of contention is that they are not holding civil post under Union India and engaged only on casual basis. So what court held, the scope of Article 323 is very wide and enacting 1985 Act, power has been exercised in almost full measures. Section 14 and Section 3Q of the Act clearly indicate that the Act covers a very wide field. The remedy of the respondents was therefore the tribunal as and not the High Court which jurisdiction has been taken. So here what Supreme Court said, it's a wide. And article under this Act 1985, we said that this provision was inserted in Constitution in 1976, 42nd Amendment. With that effect, we have passed Administrative Tribunal Act 1985. So here what the court says, even in a casual basis, it is having wide jurisdiction. Other than High Court, the Supreme Court is having jurisdiction. Tribunal is having jurisdiction. That is what court said. Okay, other than High Court. So this is what Article 323A. So in 323A, we have discussed about what is 323, what are the matters covered by 323 and jurisdiction regarding this railway case we have discussed it just now. So now we have to discuss about Article 323B, next part. So Article 323B, as I told you, empowers Parliament and the state legislature to establish tribunals for the adjudication of any disputes, complaints, offences in respect to any matters specified in Clause 2 of this article. The matters referred Clause 2 are examples: levy of and assessment, collection and enforcement of any tax, foreign exchange and import, industrial and labor disputes, land reforms laws enabled under Article 31A of Constitution, sealing or urban property, election disputes of members of Parliament and of state legislature, but excluding the matters referred to in Article 323, 320A. These articles have taken away the jurisdiction of courts, decision of the election disputes of Prime Minister and Speaker of Lok Sabha. The next, Production and Procurement, Supply, Distribution of Foodstuff and Essential Goods Act, and offences against laws with respect to any matters specified in subclause A to H in fees. Next one is matters incidental and any of the matters specified in the above subclass. So this particular is special areas like tax, elections. When it comes to elections, local body elections, and they have excluded the election of president, prime minister, as we discussed when we have discussed about central executive. Okay, so these are the matters going to be resolved under Article 323B. So here 323 deals with this particular aspect. So far we have discussed about 323A and 323B. Okay. So the next question is exclusion of jurisdiction of courts. That is what I told you. We have established to settle the disputes, service disputes, to lessen the burden of courts. So when it comes to exclusion of, means here it provides for the exclusion of matters mentioned in these articles from the jurisdiction of all courts except the jurisdiction of Supreme Court under 32 and 136 of the Constitution. This is what you have to remember. So you can approach, you can challenge the decision, you can approach the court on the judgment of tribunal only to Supreme Court, not to the High Courts. Means, again we will discuss that case. Here the High Court's jurisdiction excluded. They excluded the jurisdiction of High Court. You can have to approach Supreme Court. Supreme Court under what? 32 and 136 means, 32 means violation of fundamental right, 136 and special leave petition. You can approach the Supreme Court on the decision of these tribunals. So, why? Because this is to remove the hurdles. If you go to the High Court and Supreme Court, it is another barrier you are going to create. So, according to this this tribunal is treated as like a High Court. Once the judgment is delivered in High Court, you are going to Supreme Court. So, here also they have treated, otherwise they have treated this tribunal as like High Court. So, again I will tell you what happened in subsequent cases. So, as I told you, on 32 and 136. So, the writ jurisdiction of the High Court under 226 now been taken by this provision. According to this provision, High Court have no power to approach from the judgment of tribunal. That 226 have been taken by, and only 32 is available, and aggrieved party can still go to the Supreme Court under Article 136 of the Constitution. So, Supreme Court already laid down the guidelines for the grant of special leave to the appeal from the decision of the tribunal. This is what we are discussing about original position of tribunals, which when they have established. Okay. So, now we have to look at, first we will look into the establishment tribunal, then we will discuss about two important cases which deals with the jurisdiction of tribunals. The first one is establishment of administrative tribunals. So, as I told you, in exercise of given power under 223, Parliament passed Administrative Tribunals Act 1985. Okay. So, application of the Act. Application Act means, as I told you, now we have to deal with what are those exempted from this Act. What are those? First one is members of naval, military, air forces, any other armed forces union, any officer of servant of the Supreme Court or High Court, they have been excluded from this jurisdiction, tribunal jurisdiction. Any person appointed to the secretariat staff, either also of the Parliament. These three categories were excluded from tribunal jurisdiction. Okay. So, the next one is composition of tribunals. So, okay, each tribunal shall consist of chairman and such member as vice chairman, judicial member and administrative members. And the appropriate government may deem fit. So, every tribunal is consisting of judicial member and administrative member, vice chairman, and okay. When it comes to state administrative tribunal, as rank of the judge. When it comes to Supreme Chief Justice, Central Administrative Tribunal, Chief Justice rank, Chief Justice of High Court rank person will be appointed as Chairman of the Central Administrative Tribunal. Okay. So, qualifications and removal. Okay. When it comes to removal means proved on misbehavior, they will be removed. The President is going to appoint these members. So, our question is, jurisdiction of central tribunal. So I told you state tribunal and central tribunal. So now you look at the jurisdiction of central tribunal. So the central tribunal exercise what type of jurisdiction? Recruitment to any all India service or any civil service of the union or civil post under the union or civilian of defense service, civil service matter. So you might have seen in recent times when there is appointment of DGP or chief secretary, they are if an aggrieved person is going to approach Central Administrative Tribunal in Hyderabad. Means what? Central Administrative Tribunal deals with civil services matters. Central Civil Services means what? All India service, civil service of the union. Okay. So all service next. All service matters above mentioned employees and also employees of local or any other authority within the territory of India or under the control of the government of India or any corporation, society owned by, controlled by government, even the corporation employees. Next, all service matters of such persons whose service has been placed by state government or any local authority or any corporation to the disposal of the central government. This is what jurisdiction of Central Administrative Tribunal. When it comes to State Administrative Tribunal, there you have to approach state government employees, state civil service employees, as like central civil service employees, they have to approach local administrative tribunal called as State Administrative Tribunal. Okay. So now we have discussed about the jurisdiction of High Court. As I told you, the courts were exempted from means High Court have no jurisdiction to review the decision of tribunals, earlier decision. So we have one case, L. Sampath Kumar versus SP Sampath Kumar versus Union of India. SP Sampath Kumar versus Union of India. Please listen this case. We have two cases, Sampath Kumar and Chandra Kumar. After looking into these two cases, you will understand the jurisdiction of tribunals. Okay. In this case, what happened? The Administrative Tribunal Act 1985 was mainly challenged on the ground that impunged act by excluding the jurisdiction of High Court and 226 and 227 in service matters has destroyed the judicial review, which was an essential feature of the Constitution. So in this case, what happened? They have challenged. What Supreme Court said, the 5-judge bench of court upheld that validity of the Act except Section 6, Clause C, Subclause C, A, Clause 1, Subclause C. The court held that the Act was excluded the judicial review exercised by the High Courts in service matters, but it has not excluded wholly or jurisdiction of the Supreme Court under the 136 has been kept intact, and there is a form where the matters of importance and grave injury. So here, what we have to remember in this case, Sampath Kumar, what Supreme Court said in Sampath Kumar case, they have excluded the jury. As I told you, High Court is not having jurisdiction because that they have excluded High Court jurisdiction. Okay. So, in simple, in SP Sampath Kumar case, these provisions excluding the jurisdiction of High Court were held valid. Means here under Article 226, normally judicial review under Article 13 is basic feature of the Constitution. Judicial review applies to whom? Both High Court and Supreme Court. But here the High Court is not having jurisdiction on the matter relating to administrative tribunal. Okay. So, if you have no right to challenge it in the High Court, you have to go to the Supreme Court, as I told you. Thus was supported this Sampath Kumar case. They have held that this particular sections are valid. So later what happened? In L. Chandra Kumar versus Union of India, L. Chandra Kumar versus Union of India, AR 1997, Supreme Court 1125, 1997. The latter case is 1987, former case is 1987. This case is 1997, L. Chandra Kumar versus Union of India. So in this case, same question, whether the High Court is having jurisdiction on tribunal judgment, whether the High Court can review the tribunal judgment. So, the Constitution Bench of Supreme Court in this case has unanimously held that Clause 2D and Article 323A and Clause 3D of 323B, to the extent they exclude the jurisdiction of High Court and the Supreme Court under Article 326 and 227 and Constitution, are unconstitutional as they damage the power of judicial review, which was basic feature of the Constitution. What the Supreme Court, in this case, these particular provisions which I mentioned under 323 and 323B excluded the jurisdiction of High Court is held invalid, means unconstitutional, because these provisions disabling High Court to exercise their jurisdiction on tribunal matters. So what happened in this case? What is settled in this case finally? If you have a grievance, you can have to approach the High Court instead of Supreme Court first. Okay. Normally what is happening? Matter will go to High Court and Supreme Court. But in the previously, when it comes to tribunals, you have to approach the Supreme Court directly under Article 322, 136. But Chandrakumar judgment, what it said? You have to approach the High Court also, because judicial review of the High Court is the basic feature of the Constitution. So Constitution made it clear, means this. So High Court is having the jurisdiction over the judgment of. Now what is happening? You have to approach again judgment of tribunal against High Court and Supreme Court. So this judgment was criticized, saying that we have established a state administrative tribunal, for example. So we have established this tribunal to settle the disputes and to lessen the burden of other courts. So if you are approaching High Court, what is the need of having this tribunal? Again you are going to High Court, again you are going to Supreme Court. Then what is the use of having this administrative mechanism which is going to lessen the burden of courts? This was criticized, because in the judgment what's happened? High Court is having jurisdiction to review the matter of tribunal. Means you have, or if you want to say unofficially, they have equated the single judge. They have equated tribunal equal with single judge bench of High Court. Normally what happens? If a single judge delivers judgment, again you are approaching the High Court, again division bench. So here we are coming to tribunal to High Court. Means here tribunal is acting like a single judge bench of High Court. So here what is the use of having this tribunal? This is the question. So in Chandrakumar said, what said? No, you have to approach the High Court. You are not supposed to approach the Supreme Court. You are bypassing High Court, means you are violating the basic feature of the Constitution, that is called as judicial review of the High Court. Now we have to approach again High Court on the matters of tribunal. This is what settled. So here the court held that while the jurisdiction of the High Courts and the Supreme Court cannot be ousted, other courts and tribunals may perform supplement role in discharging powers conferred by Article 226 and 227 or 32 of the Constitution. So all decisions of the tribunals will be subject to the scrutiny of division bench of the High Court, which has jurisdiction over the tribunals. Normally if you go to the High Court on the matters of administrative tribunal, the division bench is going to deal with. That is what I told you. The matter will goes to single judge bench to division bench in High Court normally. Here what is happening? The matter is going to division bench of High Court from tribunal judgment. So indirectly they have treated this tribunal as a single judge bench of High Court. Okay. Instead of, why don't we have separate single judge bench in High Court to deal with service matters instead of wasting the money? So that is what the criticism. Okay. So now you got my point. You have understood this Chandrakumar judgment. After the Chandrakumar judgment, what is happening? Matter is going to High Courts again. High Court and Supreme Court. Okay. So this is what? Tribunal. So this is relating to tribunals. Okay. So here the decisions So what happened after this Chandra Kumar judgment? The tribunals have lost their status but not jurisdiction. The high courts have not regained the jurisdiction fully, inasmuch they cannot entertain by any writ petition for the instant case. So what is happening? The tribunal is having jurisdiction, but it lost status because again you are going to high court. Okay. So high court regained means what? You cannot approach the high court when it comes to tribunal matter directly to settle the matter. You have to approach the tribunal and you have to go to high court. So this is what tribunal. So in this topic, what we have discussed, what are the administrative tribunals? What purpose administrative tribunals were established? What are the provisions 323 and 320B? 323A deals with service matters other than which are mentioned in 323B means what? Service matters relating to tax, elections. When it comes to elections, what I told you, local body authorities. When it comes to local body authorities, the lower courts will act like tribunal while deciding matter relating to local bodies. This is what tribunals. You may expect question on tribunal as a short note. So you have to remember these two provisions 323A, 323B and these two important judgments, Sampath Kumar versus Chandra Kumar, and what is the change in Sampath Kumar to Chandra Kumar. Okay, this we have concluded tribunals. You may expect this question and short notes. Okay, thank you. We will meet the next topic.